Hello, welcome to the NBA DFS build for Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. I'm going solo today, no Taylor Smith, although if you look at our shared screen here, RotoGrinders projections helping us out a little bit today. Our boy Taylor Smith does have some expert plays in here, and we'll probably go over some of those in general. Tiny 3-game slate, not a lot of injury news, not really anticipating much that's going to be crazy. That's going to come out and change the slate. The only thing is Joel Embiid is on the second leg of a back-to-back. And there are a couple injuries that we will touch on just to highlight any value that might stand out. But honestly, it's probably going to be exactly what we're seeing right now. And that's why I'm just going to go over these games real quick and send this out there and hopefully help you win a little bit of money. So if I help you in any way, please like and subscribe. Like this video and subscribe to our channel. Sometimes it'll just be me on here helping you out, and other times it'll be me and Taylor going back and forth on a specific slate. So let's dive right into it. We got Denver and Philly, 1.5 point game here with Philly favored at home. Starting on the Denver side, all these guys were questionable, basically all the starters, but they got moved to being probable. I'm going to update the injury report here just to make sure that nothing crazy has changed. Nope, everybody is listed as probable. So it's a pretty big game. Jokic versus Embiid. So I'm assuming we're going to have both teams at full bore here. The only thing of note would be DeAnthony Melton is out for the 76ers. So we'll get to that in a little bit here when we cover Philly. So on Denver's side, let's start out. Obviously, Jokic is a stud. You can play Jokic. I will say I've seen his projection be better. Jamal Murray in the lineup can also kind of hinder his usage and upside a little bit. And facing Embiid on the road doesn't feel great. So totally fine. 11.5 is a fair price. But I'll get to it in a little bit. I don't know if you need to pay crazy money on this slate for two reasons. Number one, there's some really good plays on this slate that aren't Jokic and Embiid. And number two, the value is horrific. So he's a good play. He's fine. I just don't think you need to make him a priority necessarily. Moving on, Jamal Murray is okay, but I don't love the price or the projection. MPJ and Aaron Gordon are kind of the same play. They're going to play 30, 35 minutes, get you about 30 fantasy points. I guess I would lean MPJ just because he's projecting for far less ownership, but I don't know if either of them are going to be a major priority for me. KCP does stand out. He played 37 minutes last game, and he's going to be out there. He's going to be jacking up three-pointers. So you're going to get time on the floor, and if he gets hot, he could pay off. But the guy here in Denver that I actually like is going to be Reggie Jackson. And if you look down here, our boy Taylor Smith likes him too. With the Denver guys in, obviously he's not going to be starting, but he's only 3.9K, and he's going to have a roughly 20-minute role off the bench. And we know Reggie Jackson can get hot and pay off. So I will note that Philly is number one against defending the three-point line, which is another reason for me that I would get away from KCP, especially at that price point. And, just use Reggie, just pure savings. Just hopefully he can get there, get you 20 to 25 fantasy points, and just save enough money to help you get where you want to get elsewhere. I don't see anybody else on Denver that I really want to prioritize. On the Philly side, obviously Embiid looks great. I believe he's got the best projection of the slate. Jokic isn't an easy draw either. If you want to play the numbers game, I feel like, Jokic is coming in with no ownership, and Embiid's coming in at 22% right now. So, if you want to just get different, Jokic is $100 more expensive, only a projection for 5 fewer fantasy points, and should be unowned. On a 3-game slate, Jokic being unknown is interesting, so I will say that. But Embiid on the second leg of a back-to-back, Jokic isn't exactly an easy draw, and there's other plays on this slate. I will say Maxey is going to be a little bit overpriced just because Embiid's back, but Maxey actually thrives with Embiid there. Usually we think, well, if Embiid's out, Maxey is just a smash auto play, and that can be true. But Maxey benefits greatly from it being there. So at 3% projected ownership and a pretty good projection, Maxey is still on my radar. But again, there's other plays to be had here, so I don't know if I'm going to prioritize them. Tobias is too expensive with Joel back. Kelly Oubre is okay, but probably too expensive with Melton out. Batum is just fine. But the guy I'm looking at here would be Pat Bev, and let me guess, Head Chopper actually likes Pat Bev here, but I'm with him. I mean, Beverly is 4.6K. He's going to get 20 to 25 minutes, and with Melton out, he might even end up starting. So that minutes and overall projection might feel a little bit light at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets spiked. So for Philly, it's the usual suspects. Embiid and Maxey are good plays. And then I'm looking at Bev for some value. Sacramento heads to Phoenix to take on the Suns tonight. The Suns are 4-point favorites, which sounds just about right. Sabonis looks like a good play. One of my favorite plays on a slate, just because his projection is not that much lower than Jokic, and you're saving like 1.5K here. So he looks good. De'Aaron Fox looks fine. Good price. Projection's totally fine. Nobody else really stands out. I will say Keegan Murray is questionable to suit up tonight. So if he's out, I mean, you're looking at 30-plus minutes on the floor going to somebody else. Kevin Porter is interesting if he's going to start and get the minutes he got last week, 39, which was just obscene because I used him the previous time he played, and he got hurt after 1 minute. So that was fun. And he went off for like 49 points in his first game back after the injury, and I didn't play him, of course. So that was fun to see. But honestly, the two guys that are kind of interesting, if Keegan is out, are going to be Trey Lyles and Harrison Barnes. They're going to push for 30 minutes potentially, and you just kind of have to pick which one you like. They're about the same price, looking at about the same minutes and fantasy point projections, so they're both fine. So I don't really have a lean right now. I guess I'd go Trey Lyles. Just because he's $100 more, and he's Trey Lyles, so maybe people will not want to use him as much, and his ownership, could go down. So, for value's sake, I hope Keegan Murray's out. But on the other hand, if he's in, I don't have to worry about this disaster. Overall, Sabonis is the guy I like for the Kings. I probably won't go hard at anybody else. On the Phoenix side, they're healthy. They got all the guys: Brad Beal, Devin Booker, KD, Nurkic. They're all there. So you can play them. The prices are good. They all project okay. I would definitely lean KD over Booker or Beal. Beal's projection isn't very good. KD, it projects. I mean, really, he's one of the best players on the slate when you look at his projection and price. So that's where I'd go with that trio. The only other guy I really am interested in here is actually going to be Eric Gordon. It's kind of the same thing with Reggie Jackson. He's going to have a role as far as just like a spark, probably off the bench here, 25, 30 minutes. And it helps that the Kings are terrible defending three-point line. So Gordon looks pretty interesting at 4.2K. Moving on to the last game of the night, OKC in LA. They are 6.5-point favorites against the Clippers. I feel like that's a little bit heavy. Let's see. Let me double check if they played last night. I think they did. Yeah, they did. And they were in LA against the Lakers, and they lost. So there is obviously the argument that they could be a little bit fatigued. I'm not going to let that deter me, though. SGA is like right up there with Sabonis and KD as looking like an awesome play. Really good. His projection feels a little bit light too. I'm not really a big believer or in agreement here with the spread. Not really in major agreement with his projection. I feel like he's under projecting here. So I think he's going to be a little bit better than what we think he's going to be. 23% ownership though, so you're not going to be the only one playing SGA. On the flip side, the Clippers do not have Zubac. So with Zubac not defending inside, Chet Holmgren might have a little bit easier path to the rim. He just won't have somebody hounding him as much. So his projection feels light too. Those two at the top are probably the only OKC guys I feel great about. The minutes are just wonky for Josh Giddey and Dort, and Jalen Williams is just okay, but he feels a little bit pricey. Isaiah Joe as like a spark play, kind of in the vein of Reggie Jackson or Eric Gordon off the bench is okay, but 4.5K, I would much rather go with Eric Gordon or Reggie Jackson, or, if Keegan Murray's out, Trey Lyles. So on the other side for the Clippers, for the last team of the night, Kawhi Leonard leads the way with a 43.35 projection. It's totally fine. Like I said, for just handful 100 more, you're getting KD. I guess it's like 700 more, but still, it's not really that far up to just get KD. Although if you're playing SGA or Chet, I do like the idea of maybe ending with one of these guys, just because this could be a sneaky game. I feel like a lot of the ownership and the focus is going to be on the first two games, and the game with the largest spread, which I don't really agree with, could end up being the one that gets overlooked. Weirdly enough, though, the ownership is flocking to the Clippers. All these guys are owned at the moment, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that right off the bat. The prices are good, but there's a lot of good plays on the slate. I will note that Daniel Tice is probably one of the better values right away with Zubac out. You could make a case for Mason Plumlee, who'll get you 15, 20 minutes off the bench. Tice is probably going to start. He started last time and had 22 minutes. Let's see how he actually produced there. Not great. 10 fantasy points. So, Tice can definitely bomb. So, while Tice is probably the recommended play here, he's also going to be pretty chalky. So, you could make an argument for fading Tice and just playing Plumlee, or just fading that chalky value across the board, just because, he hasn't been the most reliable. But that does it for me in this slate. I think there's a lot of different ways you can go. My personal strategy for this slate is going to be just probably one single entry lineup, and I'm probably going to fade Jokic and Embiid. I'm just going to go for some combination of KD, Sabonis, SGA up top, eat some of this value, maybe fade one of the chalky values, and then if I can, I'd try to get a run back from the Clippers on the other side of SGA. As things stand, I'd probably lean Harden. He looks to be the lowest owned at this point. So he's what makes sense for me here. That does it for me. Again, please like this video if I help you in any way. Also, subscribe to the channel so you can be in the loop on more videos. Thanks and good luck.